Hey, good morning, everybody that's just joined. We're going to give it a couple of minutes to about, I think, 10:01, 10:02 UK time before we kick off, just to give a bit of grace. But yeah, welcome. Good morning, everybody. We'll kick off shortly. Good morning to those, or good afternoon to those who've already joined the webinar. I was just saying we're going to give it a couple of minutes past the hour for people to join, and then we'll kick off. So yeah, good morning. Okay, so I think we're going to kick off. So welcome all to this special Africa Tech Festival digital webinar. It was nice to see so many partners, old and new, on the attendee list. So hoping today will be an insightful look into what digital products we're working on at the moment, how you can get involved with those in what's going to be a huge year for the continent. My name is James Williams. I'm the event director for the Africa portfolio in Informatech and lead on the content research and event production across our products. I'm joined by my colleagues, James Bull, who leads the development of our commercial offerings on the portfolio, and Shrishti Gisad, the research manager at Omdia, Informatech's research and consultancy business. I'm going to kick off with an overview of what we're planning for 2022, with a look at the events we're running throughout the year and the themes that they will cover. James is going to then provide an overview of one of our biggest assets, our audience, built up over decades of running tech and telecoms events on the African continent, Shrishti's then going to give a bit of an analyst overview of the current Africa tech landscape. So some of the biggest industry tech trends coming down the line in the near future. And then James is going to unpack a bit more of our digital offerings with some case studies and clients we've worked with and products we've produced. One point before we kind of get into the slides is that we'll finish with a Q&A. So please do raise your hand or drop any questions in the chat function, and we'll do our best to get to those, answer as many of those as possible throughout the webinar. We want it to be interactive as possible, so let us know what's on your mind, and anything that we don't get a chance to answer, we'll be happy to pick up after, either in a direct email or chat. So yeah, let us know, drop it in the chat, and I'll keep an eye on those throughout. Just as an outline and a really brief overview of the portfolio and what we're doing this year, this is our content calendar. So it just focuses on what we'll be working on in 2022. So just along the top, just wanted to look quickly at the media website, Connecting Africa. So this site, hopefully you'll know, brings daily news on the kind of latest developments in African tech and our kind of the business news and the trends from across the continent. And then these themes across the top allow a deeper dive into the industry shape in trends over the year, basically. So often with those, we have partner perspective, expert insights in kind of long and short form. So it just gives a bit of detail there. The Connecting Africa site has over 55,000 monthly viewers, and 87,000 email subscribers. So they support lots of the digital products, lots of the events that we run, that James is going to detail in a bit more later on in the webinar. Connecting Africa is a big area of development for us this year, and we've just recruited a new associate editor to support our current editor Paula in kind of further growing the scope and reach of the site. So yeah, big year for Connecting Africa too, and supports our products heavily there. On the second line down, that's our symposium. So they've worked really well in recent years as kind of specific deep dives that comprise 2 topic related webinars taking place kind of on the morning and the afternoon of a single day. So our first symposium last year welcomed over 650 attendees, and they've proved a really useful, powerful way of generating leads and market interest while showcasing industry expertise for our partners and expert speakers. So on those speakers, we've worked with kind of some of the biggest names on the continent over the last couple of years. Liquid, MTN, Vodacom, lots of the telcos, AWS, Facebook, all taking part, lots more. We can obviously give you a bit more detail on that on request as well. The first symposium for this year will focus on the connectivity challenge and the kind of inexorable link to the growing data industry. So data center industry, that will take place on June the 21st. So save that one in the diary too. And then just moving to the events, and firstly on the regionals. So these cover a real specific deep dive into the tech ecosystems in each African region. Obviously recruiting key stakeholders and experts from across the industry and talking on kind of how that impacts enterprise consumers. Again, very happy to share dates, agendas, and more information on the topics on request as well, and can talk you through those, the opportunities to get involved in a bit more detail. So this webinar today is mainly about digital marketing services. But before I kind of move on to that, I just wanted to finally look at Africa Tech Festival. So it's an extra special year this year for Africa Tech Festival, with the return to physical event for the first time in 2019, which will also coincide with our 25th anniversary. So the team are obviously very excited to be back in Cape Town, and that event takes place November the 7th to the 11th. Our production team are deep in the research and the agenda production, and here provided is the agenda at a glance for 2022. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here, as we're happy to share this as a PDF and talk you through it on calls, provide some more information as to actual agendas. But one thing I did want to highlight though now was kind of some of the new streams that we either introduced last year in the virtual setting and will be bringing to life in the physical event in November. So they're telcos of tomorrow, cybersecurity, green ICT, a ministerial summit as well. A small ministerial summit will take place in 2022, as well as a look at some of the newest technologies, so like Web3, the metaverse, and some of the other biggest trends that are obviously driving, affecting, shaping African enterprise. You can expect the same quality content and inspirational speakers that we've been delivering for the last 25 years. And this year, more than ever, will be a kind of a celebration of African tech and our return to Cape Town. So we totally understand the importance of getting back in front of your partners and clients. And some of the team have attended some live events this year, and obviously been a part of that buzz again. So we're working on lots of networking features, social features that make the festival such a special date in the diary, in the calendar. So that'll include A-Fest, the Africa Tech Awards, special networking features on and off site, happy hour drinks on the show floor, and ample meeting room space as well across the 5 days. The final slide from me is just a glimpse at the Africa Tech Festival floor plan. So we've had a really busy start to the year. Again, this is something that would be really happy to talk any potential partners, clients through in more detail on a call. But basically, blue indicates the space that has already been sold. And obviously, as I say, it's been a busy start to the year. So yeah, that was just a kind of a quick look at that. So just going to hand over to James now. James is going to talk a bit more on our audience reach and how the business leverages that to build kind of year-round marketing campaigns, digital marketing campaigns, and bespoke offerings there. So yeah, over to you, James.
Brilliant. Great. Thank you, James. So yeah, James mentioned, just going to talk a little bit more about our community we built over the past 25 years and how we've best to engage them. So our audience and community in the region are really engaged through 3 key pillars, which we've detailed here. The first being research and consulting via our partner company, Ondia, who offer an unrivaled depth of expertise from Inform and Text legacy brands, Ovum, IHS, Tractica, and Heavy Reading. The next is through our media offering, which consists of several products led by our Connecting Africa website. This community offers a real nuanced, comprehensive and informed understanding of the region's communications, networking and ICT sector. And then finally, as James mentioned, our event series, which is spearheaded by Africa Tech Festival, which will return to Cape Town this November. Our range of products offers a really good opportunity to reach key decision makers across 3 key strands within the African technology marketplace. So firstly, enterprises. We work with leading enterprises from several verticals: FMCG, oil and gas, utilities, banking. Within these, we engage at the CTO, CIO, IT director level. And these people that are leading and investing in their business's digital transformation. Historically, the next segment has been our strongest, which is the service provider community. We've got really strong relationships within leading MNOs, ISPs from across Africa, including group level engagements from MTN, Vodacom, and Orange Group. And the final segment is the technology vendors. We also attract a real broad range of customers to the event, from people offering solutions in FTTX, fiber, AI, cloud computing. So it's a real broad mix in terms of who we work with. Geographically, our audience is strongest in what have been our 3 core markets, which are South Africa, Kenya, and Nigeria, where we have run events previously. However, we've got a growing reach in several key markets and growth markets across the continent, such as Egypt, Senegal, Ghana, Rwanda, Tanzania, DRC, Ethiopia, to mention a few. As you can see as well, we of course do have people that join the event and join our community from outside of Africa that are interested in investing into the space. So yeah, that was just a brief overview. Now our colleague from Ondia, Shushti, will give a presentation on key trends to watch out for in 2022.
Thank you, James. Before we start, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Srishti, and I'm the Research Manager for the Middle East and Africa team at Omdia Service Provider Markets. I oversee creation of research deliverables and execution of consulting engagements in the region. Omdia has a global team of over 400 analysts and consultants to help you to prioritize the right investments and discover new opportunities. We provide powerful data, tools, and strategic insights you need to make the right decisions. The Middle East and Africa region will continue to see growth in mobile as well as fixed broadband subscriptions. This growth, even for the most mature markets, will be driven mainly by a shift in technology. Example, 5G and fiber are at the top of the list, but fixed wireless access is gaining traction across the region from areas where fiber is not economically viable to mature markets and urban areas where there is a need for higher capacity. We also have 4G in markets that have recently launched or expanded coverage for service. Newer technologies need high capex to deploy and thus an increased demand for telcos to monetize their current network assets, as well as increase efficiencies. We will thus see operators launching new digital services while also switching off their 2G, 3G networks. The shift in technology also necessitates the telcos working closely not only with multiple vendors, but also the governments and other players in the ecosystem, such as system integrators and solution providers for industry verticals. This will result in further growth in digital services such as mobile money and help to address basic problems of connectivity through innovations such as smart grids and other green ICT solutions. The key message from this presentation there are four of them. 5G monetization is key for continued growth. Fixed wireless access will drive the growth in fixed broadband segment. Mobile financial services will evolve to reach wider audience and to provide new features and solutions. The industry should look at green ICT solutions to drive not just adoption and monetization, but primarily connectivity. As we can see from the chart on this slide, 5G capex per subscription has been higher than 4G, not only because the capex for deployment itself is higher, but because there was a much slower adoption of 5G when launched. This was primarily due to the lack of device availability from a pricing perspective, as well as from a supply chain perspective during the pandemic. Although these dynamics have now changed, telcos will need to focus on the following segments to ensure they make up for the lost growth. One is enterprise. Although competition is severe in this segment, telcos with the right partnerships will be able to showcase their technological prowess and also monetize it. Some examples include Zen KSA's recent launch of 5G LAN for enterprise. IoT. This is a huge growth opportunity with industrialization 4.0, healthcare, tourism, retail, and e-commerce, and several other key segments. Consumer services. Omdia believes cloud gaming, OTT video, mobile financial services, e-commerce, and personal health are the top services that will drive growth in this segment. We're already seeing stakeholders coming together to drive the growth in 5G service revenues. Some examples are included on the slide, based on which Omdia forecasts that 5G revenue in Middle East and Africa will grow to over 13 billion by 2026, constituting to over 10% of the total mobile and broadband revenue. The revenue forecast in the previous section take into account the revenues from 5G fixed wireless access, or FWA. This brings us to the topic of FWA in Middle East and Africa. We're noticing growth even in the most mature markets where fiber penetration is over 90%, driven by FWA. Omdia expects that the FWA broadband subscriptions will increase from 17.3 million in 2021 to over 27 million in 2026. 4G will represent 75% of these subscriptions in 2026, and the growth and adoption of 4G FWA comes mainly from Africa, where fixed broadband household penetration is significantly low at around 11% as of 2Q21. Coming from this low base, fixed broadband penetration will continue to grow across the region from 81 million subscriptions in 2021 to 102 million in 2026. The pandemic highlighted the need for high-speed connectivity, not only at work, but also at home. And as governments strive to achieve their national broadband goals by supporting fiber deployments, we will see growth come from fiber and FWA. Fiber does require heavy investments and thus limited coverage in the short term, while DSL or VDSL makes up for half of the fixed broadband subscriptions in the region today. This share will decline drastically over the forecast period. One point to note, we're seeing 4G FWA launched by telcos who have already launched 5G or are in the process of launching 5G. This is mainly due to the growing need for high-speed connectivity and also to monetize network assets and differentiate services from 5G. 4G devices, such as routers, have also come down in pricing since launch of 5G, expediting the growth in 4G FWA. And we will see the same trend with 5G devices, leading to continued growth in this segment. We have spoken of technology, now coming to services. Omdia has just released its forecast for mobile financial services, or MFS, in Africa, showing that the number of subscriptions will double within the next 5 years and exceed 428 million by 2026, boosted partly by service segmentations and new launches in key markets such as Nigeria and Egypt. Revenues will also double over the next 5 years to reach $10.3 billion in 2026. The COVID pandemic has not only increased MFS usage, but also led reluctant governments to update policies to support the growth and adoption and acknowledge that fintech is at the center of the digital transformation in Africa. It is noteworthy that the large MNOs controlled a combined share of 80% of the number of subscriptions in 2Q21 for MFS, and will continue to use their scale to evolve the ecosystem. MFS today is not just peer-to-peer transfers, but also caters to consumers' insurance needs, international remittance, loans and credit facilities, as well as asset financing. An example of such a service is M-Kopa, a connected asset financing platform that offers millions of underbanked customers access to solar systems to power homes in Kenya, Uganda, and Nigeria. Which brings us nicely to the topic of green ICT. Green ICT is not just a nice to have as it is for the rest of the world, but rather a must-have for us in the region. According to the World Bank, only 40% of the African population has access to electricity. With green ICT solutions, telcos can achieve their SDGs. They can also reduce their operating costs, achieve carbon neutrality, and when adopted by customers, lead to increased adoption and monetization. Telcos should not only use green ICT for network rollout, but also offer solar kits to their consumers coupled with MFS or other payment solutions. An example illustrated here is for Orange Energy in DRC. Telcos can also collaborate with governments and vendors to bring such solutions to market who will be keen to support such initiatives. To summarize the key recommendations, telcos should not wait to roll out new services or increase coverage, but rather think of monetizing them right from the start. This can be done by launching services using the existing technology and creating differentiation, or by having clear use cases for target segments that will be willing to pay a premium if their connectivity needs are met. Example, cloud gaming. While fiber and FWA are both growth opportunities, their CapEx and time to market requirements are different. By having a clear plan to offer both services so as to maintain differentiation and price premium for each, operators will be able to maximize their growth. FWA for underserved areas or verticals such as agri-tech should be a priority during the forecast period. Mobile financial services will need to continuously evolve to maintain the growth in subscriptions and revenues. Green ICT solutions need to be prioritized not only for reduction in operating costs, but also to increase adoption and monetization opportunities. Vendors will need to have a very collaborative approach towards telcos as well as governments. Today, the top vendors have out-of-the-box solutions for rolling out services such as mobile financial services, educating the ecosystem regarding the benefits of these services by building them up as use cases rather than technologies needs to happen today. The same applies to green ICT. Vendors will be able to showcase work done in other geographies to highlight the benefit to not only the operators, but mainly the consumers, so that the governments and local bodies can see the value. All these insights and the data they're built on are part of Omdia's offering for the Middle East and Africa region. We have the Middle East and Africa Intelligence Service, where you get access to all such reports, and the World Information Series, which is the data tool. We cover all countries across the Middle East and Africa with analysts based on the ground. Our customers also get a complimentary bespoke service, Ask an Analyst, for not only accessing our platform, but also to ask very specific questions to our analysts for deeper understanding and insights. With that, I come to the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening in today. I'll be happy to take any questions, if any.
Thanks very much, Shrishti. I don't see any questions in the chat, but I do have a couple of my own, and I know they're kind of indicative of the things you're often asked as to how you put this data together, and your main basically target audience. I know telcos are a big target audience for us across the portfolio. So yeah, a couple of questions there that I know you're often asked.
Great, thanks for that, James. So as James Bull mentioned, that we have a very close cooperation with our the group at the group level with our key telcos such as MTN, Vodacom, Orange, etc. So we not only go through their annual, quarterly financial reports, we also make sure with the team that we have on the ground that we go through each of the regulatory reports that are published on a regular basis. We analyze them, we take all of that data in, and then we put our numbers together. So these are not just estimates based on some random growth rate, but this is based on what has happened in the market as reported by the telcos and the regulators, and built up based on that. That's question number one. And our audience, you mentioned telcos. Yes, that, but now this ecosystem is evolving at such a fast pace. There are, I mentioned M-Copa, and many organizations like that would benefit to understand how the market is evolving. Vertical solution providers, they would love to understand where the growth opportunities lie and who to partner with. And we provide exactly that. We provide an understanding of the market opportunity from, a country operator perspective, we provide an understanding of what segments are driving growth and revenue growth mainly. And so, our audience is now evolving as well. So we've been speaking to the likes of, the hyperscalers, Metaverse, Google, right down to, local partners who would want to make, the most understood and well thought of decisions based on data.
Thank you, Shrishti. There's another question from Monica in the chat. It's around IoT adoption, and it's linked to healthcare, basically. So any kind of insight on how IoT is being used in the healthcare sector as well currently in Africa? I know, like, personally from the agenda and the research we're doing, obviously is a huge part of telehealth, monitoring people, basically monitoring disease, both in the home, on the move. So yeah, anything to add to that, Shrishti? We'll definitely have something on the agendas and across our events this year on healthcare as well.
Yeah, as I mentioned in my presentation earlier, that healthcare or personal health, as well as, healthcare run by governments and organizations, both are very important topics, not only, from a telco, but even a government perspective. And in the IoT space, there is so much of innovation happening on that. And we will see that transition move from the current 2G IoT-based devices to a more 4G, 5G, where you have ultra, the low latency benefits and so on and so forth. So that scope is expanding, not only in Africa, but across the globe. And especially in Africa, where connectivity and transport is a problem. I think, it is going to be the next mobile financial services kind of a thing, from monitoring, as you mentioned, through IoT devices, ensuring tracking and, having that personal health status updates on a regular basis. Another segment is agri-tech. I see that evolve very fast on the continent as well. There are some examples from Latin America, on the same topic, but both personal health or healthcare and agri-tech are two very hot and emerging, verticals in this space.
Yeah, I was actually reading an article yesterday as well around how many smart devices will be in the home. So I remember reading the stat at 2017 to this year, it's more than quadrupled, the billions of, the hundreds of millions of American dollars, the growth of the industry. And I think by 2030, there looks to be 10 billion smart devices in African homes on the continent. So it's not just healthcare, it's not just ag tech, it's also in the home as well, and the smart devices that control anything from communication, entertainment, lights, monitoring, things like that. So yeah, it's a huge one, IoT, and we'll be doing lots on it in our events. Just, yeah, a reminder, please do drop in your questions. We'll look to answer them, or raise your hands. James, I think you're going to talk through some more of the digital marketing products that we produce and some case studies of what we've done with some clients over the past year. Yeah,
I will do. Thanks for that insight, Shrishti. I think it's great to see some of those recommendations, especially how this industry is contributing to carbon neutrality. I know that's a big topic for us as Informatech as a business, so it's nice to see that involvement in what we do. So the next part of the discussion aims to highlight, I guess, how we can give people the opportunity to take advantage of that community, and how we can help reach business development goals in the region. So over the past 2 years, we've worked with a number of internal and external partners to really develop our range of digital marketing services. And we help our clients in 3 key areas, as mentioned here. So firstly, by identifying the opportunity for your business to the market. Obviously, a lot of that falls with Shrishti and her part of the business, and really looking at a deep dive of how companies can take advantage of certain scenarios and situations. Secondly, by positioning, so where we can help focus sales and marketing strategies on those identified opportunities. And finally, through amplification, where we actually directly engage your target audience through a range of digital marketing solutions, some of which I'm going to come on to now. So our most engaged products in 2021 was our analyst-led webinars curated alongside our colleagues at Omdia. So this product enables you to position your company as an industry expert, to connect with prospects that are actively looking for education or a solution to an issue they're facing in the marketplace. Our webinars are a great way not only to create powerful content, but to generate a high number of really engaged leads. So this can be seen from some of the statistics from last year, 300 pre-registered attendees and 118 live attendees as an average per webinar across our 2021 campaigns. The next is around digital marketing services and solutions. These are our more traditional offerings, mainly through our Connecting Africa website and the subscriber base we have there. We offer a range of opportunities to engage your target audience and demographic. These include targeted HTML campaigns to distribute news or corporate messaging, newsletter adverts and content to promote, say, a product launch or involvement at one of our events, category sponsorship within one of our key verticals of Connecting Africa. This gives you, again, a really good opportunity to show thought leadership to a really engaged audience. And of course, video content, which is popular across every site, through our fast chat platform, which allows you to discuss the region's hottest topics, perhaps how your business is addressing them with a industry expert, with an analyst, or someone from our team internally. One of the key elements of feedback we've had over the past 2 years from our customers has been around content creation and finding the time to produce quality content that is led by market information and market viewpoints. Our range of products we offer, white papers, ebooks, reports, video content, offer a really good opportunity to create engaging, thought-provoking content with minimal time being taken away from your team's schedules. We handle the whole end-to-end offering. All of our content can, again, be created alongside Analyst on Omdia, given a truly independent and market-facing view of the topic. Furthermore, using our database and community, we can use that content to generate really good quality leads and a thought leadership platform to target whoever you're looking to reach. The final area I wanted to highlight was how we use our events. So how you can amplify your involvement at Africa Tech Festival. It doesn't need to be a physical show. It can also be one of our virtual shows focused more regionally. Given the time and the resource that goes into events, we believe it shouldn't just be a one-off campaign. It shouldn't just be those 3 days in Cape Town or those 2 days on a virtual platform. We want to give you the opportunity to engage prospects before and after the show. So these products are designed to increase your return on investment by enhancing things such as brand visibility, creating a thought leadership platform, and generating engaged leads that you can carry on the discussions with on site. These amplification products include things like our Africa Tech Festival What You Missed guide. So this is an opportunity to take part in our post-event report, showcase what your team learned from the event, what core themes that you took away from it, as well as giving you the opportunity to generate leads through that thought leadership platform. Attendee benchmark study, which is a new product we're offering where you can use the event attendees, target prospects with research-backed data on industry hot topics. And the final product is our event key takeaways report. So this captures all the central themes from your event presentation, again, whether that be physical or virtual, and it repackages it and frames it through a visual interactive experience, a 2-page document, which will be highlighting the key points that you discussed. we can then use this to reach those people that maybe you didn't meet at the event, and to nurture leads through your sales pipeline. So the final slide for me, I guess this is just a highlight. Throughout 2021, we worked with several leading global brands to help achieve their sales and marketing goals across the continent. Some of the statistics from webinar campaigns with AWS SES, a bespoke event we ran for Huawei on green ICT, and as well as content syndication for Salesforce. You don't need to be a global tech brand to work with us. We offer tailored solutions for businesses across the spectrum, across Africa. And yeah, that's kind of it from me. I will be quiet now and open up the floor to any questions from any of the participants.
Yeah, thanks very much, James. Yeah, excellent overview of kind of what we do and what we've done over the last year. Yeah, we've finished in good time. So, excuse me, I would suggest, yeah, let us know of any questions, drop them in the chat, and we will pick them up now, and obviously can pick up some of those afterwards as well. I guess while we're just kind of waiting for that, I think something that we haven't really mentioned on the call is that Informa Tech is a truly global business. So we've got divisions that function across Europe, Asia, the Americas, United States, obviously right across the world. So that not only means that the content is researched and kind of validated on kind of a global level, but also that our kind of reach for our audience, our top industry experts, kind of whether that's VIP targets or our clients or speakers to sit alongside you at events is truly global as well. So we work across portfolios from our service provider, obviously Srushti, on deal, we have representative and research right across the globe as well. So there's a lot of that going in the background that supports this too. I'll give it a minute or so for any questions. And then obviously, I think on the final slide as well, there are contact details for all of us. So if there's anything that you've kind of seen today that you're interested in, any questions you have that you think of kind of after the call, you can just let us know directly. Happy to pick that up afterwards as well. We've provided lots of information here, both from the research and what we do from kind of a content and a sales point of view. But I think the most value that we can offer to customers is to do something bespoke, build something for you, basically taking into consideration your needs on the content side, the format side as well. So unless there's any final questions, I think all that's left for me to do is kind of thank my fellow speakers today. So thank you, James. Thank you, Srushti, both very much for your insights. And thank you guys for joining as well. Thank you to all our attendees that joined. As I say, do let us know, do reach out if you have any questions, anything we can clarify for you. And yeah, look forward to speaking with you and hopefully seeing you in Cape Town later in the year as well.